Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Commando cast. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Mike, and today we're going to talk about going supernova. Oh my god, that was such a good weekend.
It was, dude. I was glued to my screen. So first off, before we go into it, huge shout out to the guys who managed the stream. It was fantastic.
Yes, huge shout out to the people managing the stream. It was some of the most intriguing television that I've watched in a very long time. My wife was furious at me all weekend because
I burned till 3 p.m. on Sunday watching Destiny.
Yeah,
Luckily, my wife's out of town.
It was real good, though. It was very good. Some great games, along with good television as well.
Yeah. So, what was your before we go into the cuts and everything? Right. What was your biggest takeaway from the weekend?
My biggest takeaway from the weekend: Joe Colon is actually a dice programmed card playing machine.
He's a devious SOB.
Who never makes it. Like I have loved and hated him in the past, and right now I have a major crush on Joe from the Hyperloops. Like, some of the sick, nastiest plays I've ever seen, showing great patience.
I'm embarrassed because right now, in the moment, I can't remember the card he played, but he basically waited all round to play one card, dropped it at the end, and it was like, okay, that's game over.
Yeah, it was. He had a special showing on Entourage and waited to play a fickle to get to the last.
That was it.
Point.
Okay,
and it was,
or maybe a hired muscle.
Oh yeah, it was of.
That was
legend.
Yeah,
it was of legend.
Last card in his hand, threatening a reroll, and
my family was like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Oh my god, Joe just won!" Like, that's waited. It was amazing. They're like,
yeah. So I mean, it was super good.
Yeah.
So my favorite thing from the weekend watching the stream, and I do have to give a shout out. And I know that I know that it's not a very popular opinion, right? But the Palp Modi player. That deck that he ran, I am so impressed with that deck. It was such a non-typical.
Yeah, it was
most Palp decks you see that are running 16 to 18, 14 to 18 abilities and stuff, and he ran 6, I think.
And I didn't see the big stuff. I didn't see Force Storm.
No, he didn't. The deck is out there. I don't know if it's been published, and I don't want to take anybody's stuff, right? But he was basically running the Sorsu pack. He was running the red one with Thrawn on it.
Mastermind,
thank you. I was going to say counterintelligence.
Right,
I knew that wasn't right. So he was running Mastermind as an ability. He was running Sorsu Training, and he was running Sorsu Mastery. And I've been running Neiman in mine because Neiman's #amazeballs.
Right.
But actually watching him play it, Sorsu is the right answer. Sorsu is the right package to run with Palpatine. It is. And he just, I don't know, his deck was just fantastic.
He was on Admiral.
I was on Admiral. Well, I mean, I run Admiral in mine, right? But the spicy include he had was actually Treasured Lightsaber. And it's perfect because it gives you a card draw, which is all you need because then you overwrite for an ability. I was just I don't know, I was really impressed with his deck choice. And Jonathan is your name. If you'd like to have a chat, I'd love to have that chat, right? So again, I know there was other stuff that went down.
Sure, yeah, it doesn't matter. We're talking about deck building.
His deck building choice was just off the charts fantastic and very impressed. So.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go into it without further ado. So what we're splashing up now on the screen, hiding our beautiful faces, is the 16-player top cut. And I do want to give a shout out to Your Destiny, our Danish Overlords. So now it's back up. What they've done is they've broken down the top 16 players. So we have a whole bunch of 6% because that's the way the math works, right? When you have a 1. So we had a Palp Watto, a Palp Modi. We had a Vader First Order. We had an Afro Droids, just 1. We had an Ewok Swarm, just 1. We had a Han Droids, Kylo Ray. We had 2 Chopper Droids. We had Jabba 3 wide on 2, and then we had 3 Satine Droids. And then if you actually break down the hero versus villain, which I thought was a super cool pie chart they did, 44% hero, 44% villain, with a slice out of the middle of Kylo Ray, which is neither. Have we ever seen a meta like this where it's hero? Now, granted, all the heroes are the same deck. No, I mean, they're not, but they are.
And I've been really hard on this meta. I have pissed and moaned a lot, and you know it. You've had to listen to a lot of it, and I've done it on
I don't
Discord.
disagree either.
But if you need, like, if you want to know how healthy the meta is on a competitive level right now, and I'm not saying it's real friendly to casuals right now, but on a competitive level, this pie chart you've put up really shows that we probably will never see a top cut this diverse again.
It's hard to argue with that statement.
Yeah,
and that is why I'm down on it, is because it is very casual and friendly.
And that's a different topic. But I'd say from a competitive standpoint, the part of us that likes to go to primes and lose, or top out and scrub out the first round of the cut, like that part of us loves what happened this weekend. And some of the best Destiny I've ever, like, there was probably 3 or 4 games that I watched that were played at a level that I have never played at as a player. I don't know if I've ever been able to play that cleanly for that long, that over that sustained amount of time.
I do have to say that the trickery, and trickery I guess has a negative connotation to it, and that's not really where I'm going, but just the beguileness that
Chicanery?
Joe played with.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with that. Like, that was pretty amazing. Yeah. So, and I mean, the Pout player being able to, the Pout player was getting ripped apart on stream because he missed dice sometimes. Like,
he was playing without a Pout dice.
With a Pout Saber die in multiple games, right? And, it is what it is, right? So
that is both. By the way, that is both players' responsibility to keep board state.
It is, and I also just want to say, we do a lot of IRL stuff here on the channel, right? And I know everybody's very hard on people for making mistakes and missing things, but the reality that you need to realize is that if the game wasn't being recorded, both of those players would have left that game, and the judge that was watching that game would have left that game thinking that nothing wrong happened. Right? So the only reason that was able to be caught was because 10,000 eyes were on that game, right? It was the same thing harkening back to, what was it? It was Nova last year, right? The same weekend where the winner took double resources.
Oh, right, yes.
Right? Yeah. And there was literally multiple judges, multiple eyes on that, both players. Everybody missed it. If it hadn't been recorded, everybody would have walked away from that game thinking no mistakes were made. So back to the Pout Maori player, right? Just to be able to play that clean with that many dice on the table for that long. We're talking 2-day tournament over and over and over again, that many dice over and over again. And you know what? I do realize there were some missed dice. You know what? It happens. And I don't know. I was just really impressed with the way he played that very off-the-wall deck. And I don't know, just very impressed.
I think one of the things that maybe people who haven't done a lot of big tournaments, they don't understand until they've done it a few times, is not only do you need to test and learn your own deck, but there's a part of this game that has to do with your mental, your ability to stay focused for a long period of time.
Sure.
And I've had the same thing before. When I first started playing Destiny in long tournaments, I would almost always flame out by round 5 or 6. Like I would just start making. I would either get the tunnel vision, or I would start missing stuff, right? Because I was losing focus, and I had to really start I had to start thinking about the little stuff, like making sure I was hydrated, making sure I ate before I went, make sure I got a good night's sleep, make sure I didn't drink too much coffee, make sure I had enough coffee, like all of these little things, to help me kind of to be good throughout the day. I've never played in a tournament where I had to play 8 rounds of Swiss, or was it 7 or?
No, we did 8 at the Portland Regional,
and then to come back and then play an entire I have never made a cut of that size where I had to come back the next day and then play through an entire.
Yeah, mine was only 1 game, so
yeah. And was yours best of 1 or best of
3?
Yeah,
I got destroyed.
3, so.
Actually, no, that's not true. We went 1-1, I think.
I'm hoping that I'm hoping that our prime that we're doing here on the 5th. I'm hoping that the prime, because I've already had a really big response to.
You're going to get a big response from it.
Yeah. We are going to have, at this rate, I've looked at the numbers, we're probably going to have an 8-person cut of best of 3s. And it's going to be a long day.
8-man cut?
Yeah. It's going to be a long day. And the people that have it in their
because you're doing it all one day.
We're starting early.
Yeah,
we're starting early. Yeah, but cuts probably happen at 3:30.
Yeah. And you know what else you have to remember is that, so I'm going to be officiating the event, or not marshalling. Yeah, marshalling.
You're marshalling,
Sorry.
yes, correct.
I'm marshalling is the official term for the event, right? I'm going to be getting tired too. Right. Like, it's going to be very easy to miss that somebody doesn't have a Palp Saber die on the table or whatever. Right?
Yeah, and just for you players maybe who just realize that Palp is a character and is really good. Like I think most of us.
I'm going to interrupt because I've heard all of the last 3 days on how Palp is meta. When the hell?
Right? When did that happen? Yeah, it just became meta. Do yourself a favor, and same thing for you guys out there playing. Not Django Fett. Those of you playing Django, separate your abilities from your upgrades. Like, don't put them together.
That's something that most of us, I think, naturally do, but we put them in 2 columns to try to make it...
2 columns.
It's also just a board state thing to make it easier for your opponent.
Right.
And I do realize there's a lot of people out there who try to make board state confusing for their opponent, right. And you're a bad person.
You are a bad person. Yeah, don't do that. And don't come to my tournaments if you do that.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, so I really like the Mahdi deck as well. Mm-hmm. I noticed in there that there was a Palp Watto.
There was. From a top 16 standpoint, 1 Watto, 1 Mahdi. Right?
Yeah. I feel like my gut says that the Watto version is better. But obviously, this Mahdi version was super good.
Well, I think in a traditional Palp, I think Watto. I don't know. I've always played. I played Palp Watt, and then I moved to Mahdi because I liked the removal built in on Mahdi, right? But Watto was really like the OG deck because it helped you ramp into Force Storm, and that was really it.
Yeah.
So I think the Watto just kind of harkens back to that of helping you get the big stuff.
Yeah, because you want the 4 costs, the 3 costs upgrade.
But I don't know that Force Storm is that amazing anymore. It's still good. Mm-hmm. Like it is, right? Like a 3 gun side that can roll out twice.
Or as it happened to me this week, the Force Storm, it hit me for 12 indirect in one round because of an Admiral reset.
Force Storm and Admiral.
Yeah,
then they're not playing. They're not playing Watto.
Correct. So, but it was like that upgrade was a huge it totally changed the game.
Yeah, I think with the Watto, I think with the Mahdi version, I don't know that you can afford the Force Storm, and I get it. You can drop Force Storm and overwrite it, but I just think we're basically playing 3-round Destiny these days, right? That's pretty consistently what we saw. Now, mini games went more than 3 rounds. But the game was pretty much over by the end of the 3rd round, in most cases. Yeah,
right? the Mahdi player was playing a lot for the long game. Like several of his games went to time during the rounds of Swiss, and then his infamous match with Drew from ABG went to time.
Like 2 hours.
Yeah, it's one of those decks, though, that's putting up shields and playing defense and then coming out and hitting. Like, it's a counter-punching deck, right? I called it the Floyd Mayweather of Palp decks. Like, it just shucks and jives. You don't make any contact. It's hell to watch, because you want to see something happen.
Well, and you got the Sorosu overriding for a Sorosu, overriding for an Admiral. And
it comes out, though, and eventually it will put enough on you, or it'll go to time and just beat you on damage because it plays, 2 back-to therapies. But.
Well, and we saw, I'm slightly shifting, but we've seen in your R2 Obi success that you've been having these last couple weeks that, you just kind of, dirtle around, and then all of a sudden you roll out 12 damage. And that's kind of just what Palp does in this, or at least this version this gentleman was playing. You just kind of man, all of a sudden there's 12 damage on the table.
And with Mahdi, and I don't want to, this is not a Mahdi cast, by the way, but with Mahdi, that 2-for-1 discard, even the 1 for free discard, Hand Disruption is so good right now. Yeah. And to have your support character, it's so much better. It's so important now.
2 metas ago, Snoke Tarkin was like, well, if you got that 2 discard, you're taking the 4 discard.
Right, yeah. So I just think it's really important right now, and it's a deck that its support character's main job is to provide you red, best defense, and then to... anyway, it's meant to disrupt your hand, play best defense, and give you access to Admiral. That's it. That's all it's supposed to do. What's up, Turb Dog?
Can you lay down, please?
So, like I said, I don't want to turn this into a Mahdi fest because we have a lot of decks we want to talk about. So let's keep going. And,
So what? So yeah, we talked way too long on that one, but that really
it was an interesting one to us. So, yeah.
I think the other one that potentially gave hope to the rest of the game is the fact that Raylo made the finals.
Yeah.
Raylo has kind of been, I think, the motivator for many of us in that, man, you can actually play a 2-wide deck. Mm-hmm. There's not supports on the table aside from, an R2 unit. It
has inspired me to explore other 2-wide decks when Normally, I would not at this point. And not that I play meta stuff all the time, but usually, though, I do like playing 3-cost Dirtle deck. I mean, 3-wide Dirtle decks. That's kind of I love it. Like, it's
one of my favorite ways back to the good old days of Django Balla Trooper, right?
Right. Yeah, that's my, I mean...
Phasma Balla Trooper, whatever your poison was.
Forsaken is so good. Having a 3-wide with 2 guys with a single dice is just, and there's so much incentive.
Running a Trooper for... and that's really what it boils down to, is trying to run red and blue together. And if you can somehow splash in yellow for active cruelty, then all the better for you, right?
So it has inspired me to try other 2-wide variants and have a really good time. Like the R2 Obi thing. I mean, I know I'm not the first person to ever think of it, obviously, but that was one where I was like, I would like to take this very simple concept of R2 flipping dice, and I just started looking through my binder and was like, who's got a really tough topside? And I was like, Obi-Wan, how many points? What? Like, perfect. So it's a good. I really appreciate the Raylo player. He played some really tight Destiny.
He did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, in the last round, I mean, he got overwhelmed, and it happened. But that match was heavily favored towards Joe. Like,
of course.
I mean, so for him to even push it to 3 rounds, and that third match was still real good.
Oh, it was close.
Yeah, it was still really good. So mad props to that.
Excellently well played.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just the hope that he gave many of us for, old school, I don't know if old school is the right word, but fundamental Destiny, right? Like, and I also, actually, I want to give him, I mean, not to take away from anybody else, very clear, right? But, like, I want to give him mad props because I played Raylo a couple tournaments, and it's a lot of work. Like, playing Raylo is a lot of work.
Mental gymnastics.
Right? Because, like, you're constantly doing math on, like, where's the ping supposed to go? How am I going to execute
sequencing
a ping?
is huge.
How am I going to execute a ping 3 moves from now? Right. Like, the fact that you had to do that all weekend, bro, like...
Yeah, that's amazing.
Good job.
Yeah.
Right? And, again, I'm not taking away from anybody else. Not saying anybody else didn't have to think all weekend.
Right. But that's a very thinky deck, right?
But, like, to play Raylo all weekend and do well and execute fairly well, excellently well is good job.
I think I'm a good Raylo player. Like, I played a lot of Raylo. I think I'm pretty good at it. But I tell you what, if I'm playing in a prime, I am not taking Raylo. I cannot possibly sequence well enough for a sustained tournament. I need something with clean lines of play. I want every card to be useful.
So let's flip into that. That's a perfect lead-in. I mean, it's not really because we weren't going there. Right. But, like, primes tomorrow. What are you bringing?
The prime is tomorrow.
Literally tomorrow. 8 hours from now.
Satine droids.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does all the things. Like, every card in that deck is useful all the time, which is, by the way, a sign of a really good deck. Like, you don't care what you get when you get it. That's one of the whenever I build a deck and test it, the first thing I do is I do the mulligan test on the DB like 50 times, and if it is a hard deck to mulligan, I don't play it. Because that means that something in my deck building has made it difficult for me to get a good start. If you get a bad start, usually that means you have a bad finish.
Or it means you're too selective on what you need in your opening game.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, I built a fragile deck, right? So that deck...
As a general rule, you want 4 options. When deck building, you want 4 options of something that you want in your opening hand.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
No, I'm not saying I'm going to play a deck where all 5 cards are useful all the time, but it should be easy for me to get at least a line of play out of my first 5 cards.
Right.
75-80% of the time is kind of what I'm looking for. So what would you bring if it was tomorrow?
I mean, probably the same.
Yeah. It's just good.
I don't really want to play it, though. I mean, actually, I would probably bring... I take it back. I would probably bring the 5-die chopper because I like the flexibility that deck brings, because you can kind of adapt your opponent a little bit, whereas I don't think that Satine does that. I think the Satine pretty much just blows through the same way and just overwhelms their opponent, doesn't matter who it is.
So tell me this. Tell me something that chopper droids can do that Satine droids cannot.
Burst down a character.
Round 1 first, because I saw people playing Satine droids who dropped an 8-point character first action round 2, and the
first action round 2.
Correct. And Chopper rarely is going to get
and I agree. So, like, again, I'm just saying it's a little more my play style because it gives me a little more flexibility. Right. Mainly the discard side is really what I'm attracted to. That, if you're run up against just the right deck, you can drop 3 cards out of their hand.
Yeah, I would say that if there's a big difference, it's the discard side on Chopper.
To be clear, I actually don't think 5-die Chopper is better than Satine. I think Satine's the best. Right. I think I'll say it for like the umpteenth time, and you guys are probably tired of hearing it. I think Fateful Companions is broken. Like, it needs to be a 3-cost blot. Like, that card,
it's pretty good.
Is stupid good.
Can I tell you what I would bring if I was if I was really daring?
Mm-hmm.
I would bring some sort of fast vehicle hyperspace jump, jump to light speed deck. I think that's one of those decks right now that could
talking Pohan,
yeah, like something along those lines. If I had 2 weeks, or I just went up to Bellingham and borrowed a deck, and I think I could run through that, and you were going to win some games because people are not going to be ready for that. They're going to sit down thinking they're about to have a droid off, and because Hero does not have. I mean, they have convergence, but convergence only works on a Falcon if you're running Ewoks, right? Because
and there's desperate measures too.
But a lot of people are running Hero right now.
Yeah,
of the droids. So
I
think it would be super strong, in that. Somebody's going to figure out one of those fast vehicle decks that they already have. They're going to refine that to it.
I mean, the one that I was surprised. Well, actually, I don't know that I am surprised. The Vader First Order. Well, actually, I think Vader Droid Retribution is better, right? But
this was a First Order Vader.
Yeah, Vader First Order made it, not a droid, right? Well, I mean, I get the argument, right? Retribution in that deck is kind of counterintuitive because people basically don't remove Vader's dice to begin with, so it's kind of just a dead point. But the fact that you have Retribution in there plus Vader means they just don't touch your dice.
Right.
So,
and it gives your opponent pause.
My point is, right now, running Vader with red, with Fear and Dead Men and Sudden Impact, I don't know how you're not winning more games. Like, it just...
I just think it's so easy for some of these decks to pile on 15 damage in 2 rounds.
Yeah, and that's completely fair, and clearly the results speak for themselves. It's just, we've seen what Braven's been doing recently, and sometimes Braven just rolls in 11 damage, and that's just what Vader does, right? And I'm a little surprised that it's not doing better in a meta that is wide.
Can I tell you a little secret about this Vader First Order that I heard today on another podcast? That this person who ran that has apparently took a list from a meta ago and had no new cards in it, and just that one, put it together. And they have been a Vader player,
but if it was a meta ago, why wouldn't it have been a Greedo? Actually, no. Sorry, we're 2 metas away.
Yeah. So it was interesting because
we're 2 metas away from Friends in High Places.
So we've had Alex come. Right, Alex has been playing through 3-wide Java without a single card
Alex
from
is
Spark of Hope.
Brilliant, though, right?
Don't listen to that, Alex. You're not brilliant.
I mean, yeah. Sorry.
Anyway,
Alex is a moron.
But I thought...
No, you're right.
Yeah, I mean...
He's playing 3-wide Java, and he has bought 0 Spark of Hope.
And then we played a casual night with Joseph, who went and had his... however many kids he has, a lot.
It's 12 or 13.
Yeah, 13. So it's been a while since he's played. He brings DJ and...
DJ X.
DJ Phasma.
That's pretty much his story of Joseph's life, DJ X.
And proceeds to just murder everyone in our... Because we were just drinking and stuff. But he's like, dude, I haven't had a chance to really put anything together. Can I...
This is Phasma 2. Yeah, well, obviously it is, because that's the only thing that works point.
So it's so funny, though, because I had adjusted my life to the new meta, and then he brings in this deck that is a meta old, and he just took me apart. It's the only loss I've taken.
Isn't DJ Phasma 2 metas old?
It's the only loss that my R2 Obi deck has ever taken in competitive in play with a real person.
With a real person. Yeah. Oh, you mean not TTS?
Not TTS, yeah. Oh, okay. But it's sitting down at locals or playing casually with friends. It's the only loss I've ever taken.
I thought you were insulting half our play group. Not person.
I just think maybe there's some value in someone bringing an old deck that people aren't prepared for.
No, I mean that's interesting. I mean the Vader, but he must have been playing Seize the Day and so. I mean the deck lists are available; they're published, so we'll have to check it out. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure he was playing Seize the Day, Reach the Stars. That's a huge win with that Vader red.
That's so good.
Yeah,
I think Braven kills me with that every week, at least once.
Yeah, that's his bread and butter.
It's so good. Watch his face when he does it. I'm so happy.
The other one I was surprised with, I was not surprised with only one Ewok. It doesn't surprise me an Ewok made it, but it also doesn't surprise me a bunch of Ewoks didn't make it. Afrodroids does surprise me. I'm a little surprised that Afrodroids was so low.
I've seen some of the analysis that the problem with Afro right now is that because it can't burst a character.
That's a fair argument.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the droid decks can continue to they can continue to operate at full strength for longer, which is really a super win. Like if you can't take a droid out of a droid deck early, then you're going to be in bad shape. So I think that's one of the weaknesses in not just lately, but ever they've started when they added Deja Vu and Act of Cruelty to the Afro deck in order to handle the Ewoks. I think it kind of lowered the power level of that deck against non.
Maybe that's my problem because I've been playing Act of Cruelty in Afro forever, and it's never been super effective for me. So that's interesting. But
I love that. Well, my love affair with Act of Cruelty is well documented. So
yes.
Anyway, so I see you put a graphic up here.
Yeah. So I just wanted to go through. We were just talking through the top 8, right?
Okay.
So. Just going through the top 8, we had E-Satine, E-3PO, R2, and that was Joe. Right. We had Chris Kirkpatrick with Hoth, Chirpa, that was the Ewoks player. Right. We had Sean Derrick, he was playing E-Jabba, Watt, Sentinel. We had Paul Regard playing, I hope I said that right, Paul Regard, E-Chopper, ER2, 3PO. Drew Warren playing that E-Satine deck, right? Jonathan Rulin, that was the one we, talked about forever with E-Palp, E-Modi. Kyle Warren was playing the E-Chopper droids, and then Matthew Ranks was playing E-Kylo, E-Ray, and he made it all the way, of course, to the final with Joe playing Raylo versus... Sorry, I said out of order, but Matt was playing Raylo, and of course Joe was playing E-Satine. So
fun fact about the top 8 there. Again, congratulations to the ABG guys. 3 of those top 8 are their team, and that's Paul, Drew, and Kyle. As a team, they came together, and I think they all 3. Did they all play different? No, I think Kyle and Paul were on the 5-die chopper droids of different variations. But cool, good, congratulations. That's something that I wish that we did better as a team. I wish we tested better before big events and settled on 2 very refined decks. I feel like sometimes we just get Wild Westy, because we're all like, I want to run.
Well, and we all, there's also different phases of life. It's harder for all of us to, drop a week before. True. Not saying that the ABG guys don't, but also, we of course need to pay homage to our true masters, the Hyperloops. We don't have a bow thing like the Destiny because I don't know Hyperloops.
Is it maybe turn around? I don't know.
They do a circle.
Yeah, dude, you guys are ridiculous.
So with Bobby Sapphire taking the first big victory, and then Joe taking the second big victory, and then Quinka posted an article this week, so let's go.
Quink is gonna win. First off,
no, I know.
Quink is gonna win Worlds, and then they're gonna have this weird trifecta thing, and I hope they just retire so the rest of us can play Destiny.
I don't think they're going to retire.
Probably not.
No. So
all right. So that was the top 8.
Major shout out to the Hyperloops, and you guys do a great job for pumping out the content too, so we appreciate it. So
that's a fact.
I don't know. Basically, we've talked about a whole lot today.
Yeah.
What do we got coming up?
So weird times for us because we're now a month from our Prime, which got posted yesterday. Our first.
So it's
Prime.
Pretty much time to start going for the throat.
Yeah, and I enjoy this, but I know not everybody does, so I'm going to really make sure that we try to keep everyone engaged, not just the crazy people, us, the competitive folks. I also have to decide, I'm organizing, because I'm the TO, right, and you're the marshal, so I have to figure out, I don't think I can play.
I didn't think you were playing.
Yeah, which I'm disappointed, but
at yours, but we have the PGS one coming up as well
in January,
and we also know that no product's being released.
Right. And there's 2 in Washington that I'll probably travel for before then. I just love it. I know, I love it. So so we have our regular Monday night, and then we also have we're gonna do at least one off Thursday kind of prep tournament to help the the guys, and I'll probably, because I cannot take part in our prime, I will probably really work on helping our team,
Right.
kind of like really fine tune. Like there's some pretty spicy builds out there that that have been shared with me, so that's what I'm going to be doing anyway. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, just Gongai as per normal, and then Monday Night Dice like we talked about. I do know that we have so Mike at Smuggler's Run is kicking off a Thursday night thing. I believe is it this week or is it next week?
I think it's gonna be the following week, but
the week after.
It's not gonna be a regular. It's not gonna be every week Thursday.
It's gonna be every other week at a minimum or at a maximum.
Maximum, right? Yeah, the max will be every other Thursday. It most likely, probably, on most months will be once a month. It depends on the season and what we're doing. So I'm excited. More Destiny is better,
But you know what we have started doing twice in the last couple of weeks is we actually went to a bar and started playing Destiny with each other,
just enjoying each other's company
for no reason.
And no one paid $5 to sit down.
It's like,
right.
Well, we did.
Well, true, but there was a beer.
We got something for it.
Right. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, with all the stuff about product releases and tournaments and everything, just enjoy the game.
Yeah.
Like,
have fun with your friends. It's like the biggest part of this. So.
I love, being like, hey, I have to go yell at some graduate students.
That was so funny. You're like, quick emergency Destiny at 9:30 on a Friday night.
I gotta go yell at some people, so I'm gonna need a beer. Anybody want to play Destiny at 9:30 on a Friday?
Did you have anybody play Destiny with you?
Just one.
All right, well,
that's okay.
Yeah,
everyone else is tucking their kitties into bed.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah, that was kind of short notice, but
all right. Anyway, these guys are probably tired about hearing about our personal lives, so nothing else. Go Commando.
Go Commando.